Hey, all you sugar junkies. If you're trying to reduce your sugar intake, stay tuned because I'm going to be talking about my 5 best sugar substitutes. Now, the jury is definitely out on sugar. Most of us have now got the memo that excessive sugar consumption makes us gain weight, it accelerates aging, and contributes to many chronic conditions such as type 2 diabetes, obesity, heart disease, Alzheimer's and dementia, stroke, and even many cancers. The recommendation is that we get no more than 10% of our total calories from free sugars, and reducing to less than 5% has even further health benefits. Now that equates to less than 25 grams or roughly 6 teaspoons of sugar per day. But the problem is, sugar is added to everything, and if you look at food and drink labels, you'll know it doesn't take long to exceed 25 grams. So if you have a sweet tooth, but you want to start reducing your sugar intake, there are a number of natural alternatives to consider, and we're going to look at my top 5. Maple syrup is a natural sweetener that's made by boiling the colorless sap that's collected from certain species of maple tree between late winter and early spring. And the result is the concentrated syrup that has that classic characteristic maple flavor and smell. Now, it's about 1/3 water, and so it has a slightly lower effect on blood sugar than table sugar does, but it also contains numerous minerals, and in particular, it's a very good source of manganese, which is an essential trace mineral important for things like bone formation, metabolism, and the normal secretion of insulin, which is a vital hormone involved in energy regulation. In fact, just 1 tablespoon of maple syrup provides 1/3 of our daily requirement for manganese. Now, maple syrup is also rich in antioxidants, and there have been more than 50 phytochemical compounds identified so far. Now, phyto means plant, and so when we say phytochemicals, we're talking about chemicals that are found in plants, and they're essentially how plants defend themselves. They're very protective to the plant, and as it happens, numerous phytochemicals are also protective to us. Now, some of the phytochemicals in maple syrup we don't find anywhere else, so they're, in a sense, exclusive to the maple tree and have been shown to possess a number of health-promoting properties, as well as being beneficial for things like energy metabolism and blood sugar management. Coconut nectar is a natural sweetener, much like maple syrup, that's derived from the milky white sap extracted from the coconut blossom. It's typically made in small batches because it takes skilled climbers to actually scale to the top of the trees where the blossoms actually grow. Now, the nectar is made by gently heating the sap for around 90 minutes to concentrate the natural sugars into a caramel-colored syrup. And then if we further evaporate the nectar, we get crystals that are sold as coconut palm sugar. Now, both the nectar and the palm sugar have a relatively low glycemic index. The glycemic index is a rating system that is given to a food that reflects how much of an impact that food has on our blood sugar levels after consumption. And coconut nectar has roughly half the glycemic index of table sugar. It's also reported to contain a number of minerals, including 4 times the potassium of maple syrup. We find essential amino acids and polyphenols, which are plant compounds that act as antioxidants and are beneficial for health in all sorts of ways. We also find certain indigestible sugars that actually promote healthy gut bacteria. Honey has been consumed by humans for millennia. In fact, before industrial sugar production began in the 18th century, honey was the world's primary sweetener. It's extracted from flowers and manufactured by bees, so when it comes to the claim natural, honey's hard to beat. The composition and nutritional value of honey can vary widely depending on the type of flower that the bees were landing on and also the extent to which the honey has been processed. Raw and unpasteurized honey contains various enzymes and polyphenols, amino acids, as well as vitamins and minerals, which, although they're in fairly small amounts, they do appear to have a synergistic effect that seems to have benefited human health throughout history. Honey's long been used and relied on for treating things like coughs and burns and wound healing. And that's because it possesses a number of medicinal properties. It's antibacterial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory, and it also has antioxidant effects. Xylitol is a type of carbohydrate known as a sugar alcohol, or polyol. It's most commonly obtained from the birch tree. It's a white crystal that looks just like sugar and can be used just like sugar, teaspoon for teaspoon. It's just as sweet as sugar, tastes ever so slightly different, but it's well worth giving it a try because it has fewer calories than sugar, it's natural, and only about half of it is absorbed in the gut, so it has a much lower impact on blood sugar. We see it commonly used in things like sugar-free chewing gum because it's been shown to reduce cavities. But there is one word of warning if you're a dog owner. Xylitol is toxic to canines. Dogs have a very different metabolism to humans, and it can actually cause liver damage to them, not to humans, but to dogs. So just keep any foods containing xylitol well out of their reach. Stevia is the generic name for a natural sweetener that comes from the Stevia rebaudiana plant. It's native to South America and has been used for centuries as a medicine and as a sweetener, but more recently it's gained popularity in the West as a zero-calorie, zero-carb sweetener that's sold either as a powder or a liquid extract. Now, the chemical compounds that give stevia its sweetness are known as steviol glycosides, which can be up to 300 times sweeter than sugar. But that said, some of these compounds can have quite a bitter aftertaste, and so it's sometimes blended with other sugars or artificial sweeteners, so it's a good idea to read the label to see what you're getting. But I have to say, health-wise, there are studies that show using dried stevia leaf as a safe anti-diabetic herb with type 2 diabetes patients, and it was found to significantly lower blood sugar levels, and it's thought that it may be able to play a role in possibly preventing the associated cardiovascular risks that can come with diabetes. So there are my top 5 sugar alternatives that you may want to consider as you start replacing the processed sugar in your diet. But I want to summarize with just a few key takeaways when it comes to using natural sweeteners. But before I do, please remember to like and subscribe to our channel. Now, firstly, too much sugar, natural or otherwise, can be harmful to the body. So with all added sugars, moderation is best. Intrinsic sugars are okay. These are the naturally occurring sugars within fruits and vegetables that are bound up to other health-giving compounds such as fiber and antioxidants, phytochemicals, enzymes, vitamins, and minerals. When choosing a natural sweetener, the less processed and refined, the better, because it's more likely to contain additional micronutrients that impart some health benefits. And although these additional micronutrients are in small amounts, every little helps. So consider using things like honey and maple syrup and coconut nectar in recipes that otherwise call for sugar. As far as stevia and xylitol, these can be used in place of sugar to significantly reduce blood sugar levels. But in cooking, stevia may require some experimenting because it's super sweet and you can overdo it, especially in drinks. And lastly, I'll just say, read labels carefully for hidden sources of sugar. Some manufacturers use ingredients like apple juice concentrate in place of sugar and claim no added sugar on their labels. But make no mistake, fruit juice concentrates as well as fruit juice itself are considered free sugars, and fruit juice should really be consumed sparingly. It's far better for health to eat the whole fruit rather than drink its juice. So give these a go and let us know how you get on. Until next time, you take care.